Hey, it's Chrissy and Amanda.
Two girls from Saskatchewan, Canada, living the Reiki life while working the 9 to 5.
Hey there, Reiki community. It is Amanda and Christy here with you for another episode 51. And we are so happy to be here and enjoying the summer. And we hope you are too. We have a really good episode for you today. But first, before we get into that, Christy, how are things? What is going on?
Yeah, hello everyone. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, I had a really cool story. I was going to share it with Amanda through a voice note because we love sending voice notes to each other when things happen or, just life and stuff like that. But I was like, no, I'm going to save this for our update on the episode. So I think it was about 3 weeks ago, you gave me my Reiki attunements for Yasui Reiki. And because I just had my level 1. And we were chatting and I was like, should I expect anything? Like when you go through different attunements, because I've gone through different attunements in a different type of Reiki and different things happen, like different senses opened up and weird things. And I don't know, it was just kind of a bit of a trip. So I didn't know what to expect with this. And Amanda, you were like, maybe nothing might happen. I don't know. You were like, we were just kind of chatting about it. Nothing might change. You might feel the same. And I was like, yeah, you know what? In the next couple days, I didn't really feel that different. I was just like, oh, okay, just kind of paying attention to my energy and everything like that. And then, I was at my parents' house and they've been going through a lot of, antiques and things that they've hung on to from like different family members. And they just kind of packed it away. And Mom's like, we got to go through this stuff. Like, we got to get rid of it. We're just hanging on to it. So they came across this wallet and Mom was like, oh, it's such a neat little wallet. And it's like over 100 years old. It was my great grandma's. And Mom handed it to me and I held it in my hands. And all of a sudden I was like, ooh, this feels weird. And then I felt like, I don't know, it didn't feel like a presence, but I just felt like the energy shift, like we were outside. And I was holding it and I was opening it, going through it, and Dad was standing there. And my parents are really, really open-minded. They let me be a free spirit my whole life, so I really am grateful for that. So they're very open-minded when these things happen. But I started talking about the woman, like my great grandma that owned this wallet. I was like, this, and this. And Dad looks at me and he's like, yep. And I was just like, and it was just flowing. Like, when you start to channel and it's just coming through and Mom's standing there like, what is happening? What's going on? And it's just like, it was so neat. And you know what? I sat with that the next day and I was like, wow, that's like that psychometry, I think it's called, where you pick up an object and you get a reading from it. I've seen like mediums do it before. And, I've never really had something come through an object like that. And I was thinking, well, what has changed lately? And I was like, you know what? It was that Reiki attunement. Because I remember my hands were buzzing like crazy after that attunement. And I was like, I feel like something shifted within me where I'm able to, do this thing with these different objects. And I tested it out with a couple other things and I didn't get as clear of a message, but it's just something that I think I'm going to like sit with and work with because it's actually really fun.
That is so fun. So fun. Okay, so I said to her, for the record, that she might not feel anything because Christy has been a Reiki master for years. She just hasn't been attuned to the Usui Reiki, but she has been practicing Reiki religiously for years. So I was like, I don't know if anything's really going to happen because you're kind of already attuned to the energy a bit. This is just like maybe a different attunement than you're used to. So, yeah. Your hands were buzzing, which was good. And everything felt good when I was doing the attunement, but that is amazing. And you know what else is really funny? I was just reading a book that talked about people who do that, who pick up images or not images, who pick up old items and they can like know the whole story behind the history of the item, who owned it. And especially like a wallet, right? Something we carry with us all the time really picks up like their scent or their energy. and then you can get like more of a read on their person. Like glasses, something somebody wears all the time has like a really high energy of that person. So neat that happened to you.
Yeah, it was wild. Like it's just I think that is such a neat gift to have. And I've even seen or I've thought of, doing like a card reading for somebody and like just holding my hands on their hands before I start just to connect with them and just see like if that makes a difference. I don't know, just playing around with it and just seeing what comes through.
Yeah, and that's fun. It's
Yeah.
fun. See what happens. And right, these kind of things have to start somewhere. Somebody has to be writing these books and passing on the knowledge, and that's how it starts, by playing around with it, coming up with your own things and what works for you. So cool.
Yeah, I think so. Because, like, if you think about your hands, they have so many different chakras in them. And I remember I got a reading from this one lady, and she's talking about raccoons and how they don't really see, like, their eyesight's not really good at nighttime. So they rely specifically on their hands. And I remember her telling me to pay attention to my hands. And that was a couple years ago. And I never really thought much of it until like now. So it just, yeah, whatever people tell you, always keep that in the back of your memory bank because, it didn't make sense then, but it made sense now.
Absolutely. I've had things like that too, right? And it almost like just jumps back into my memory bank. It's like, that's what that's for. And you're like, oh, makes sense now. And I mean, your hands too, especially because you were probably, getting started maybe on your Reiki, or was that after Reiki?
Yeah, that would have been after Reiki. I think I just started my Akashic journey. So yeah, a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well,
Great
enough about
update.
me. Yeah. What's going on with you?
I am glad you shared that. Well, I mean, you waited to share that
Yeah.
because that was a really good, genuine reaction from me. That's good. Um, okay, so I was in yoga class today, and so the day before, I had a full day of reading. So I had a quantum healing hypnosis session, and those take like 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours. And then I had a Reiki session after, and then I had another Reiki session later on in the evening. So it was like a full day of like energy work and kind of being in that space. And then today I was like, wow, like I'm really tired. And I was thinking, it's like I haven't really had many like days where I'm like full on giving, like even on the weekends and stuff when I'm not working my 9 to 5, right? I'll either, well, lately, actually, that's not true. Lately, I've been teaching and doing sessions. So I've actually been really extending myself more than I'm used to. And when I was laying in Shavasana today in yoga, I realized that I need to strengthen that muscle to get used to being in that energetic space all the time. It's almost like I'm not used to being in that. Does that make sense? And I need to really work on the muscle and get my energy used to it because it just felt like I'm a different kind of tired. Like I can go to my office job and right, I can do that job mindlessly because I've done it for so many years and it's like almost autopilot. Like I don't have to think very hard anymore, which is good. Like I am good at my job, but and then I go home and it's like different. I get to do Reiki and it's a different kind, so it doesn't feel like the whole thing, but anyways, that was the message I got. I really need to like strengthen that field. So if anyone else is kind of feeling almost like burnout, if they're doing a lot of energy work all day or you're trying to like channel messages all day, I think it gets easier is kind of the message. And I just need to work on that.
Yeah, it's like a muscle, like you're flexing that muscle and you're making it stronger as you go. And, it like we work 40 hours a week and then to put in 10 plus hours on the weekend plus the evenings you're working, like that's a lot of time and energy, even though say you were doing painting on the side or something, like that's still going to steal people's energy away because you're putting in so many hours. But then on top of it, like it's energy work, you're working with the spiritual body, like it's a lot more. So yeah, I totally believe it will get easier as you go.
And I kind of talked to my yoga teacher. I talked to Brenna about it. We had Brenna on the podcast and she actually said that exact same thing. She validated that. she's like, I'm so glad to hear like that's going to be your approach to strengthen it and not try to like take or do less, so you're not burned out. It's like, no, like strengthen that third eye. It almost feels like I need to strengthen my hairline. So that line that runs through our bodies, it's like that needs to just be able to handle more energy coming in.
Mm-hmm.
That was my takeaway from today. So if anyone else is maybe going through that, needs to hear that, I'm with you. I hear you. Keep going.
That's interesting that you're saying that, because I got the message about my nervous system needing strengthening, because I get overwhelmed easy. Like when readings start coming in, and then I'm like, working in the evening after work, like I find I do my best work on the weekend. So I'm trying to like find my groove here. And I remember getting the message like years ago that when you call in something new into your life, you have to have a nervous system that is available and attuned to pick up on, to have the capacity for that energy in your vessel. So that's kind of similar to what your messaging was as well.
Yeah, have space for the new to come in, which is why we always clear out the old stuff, right? So we can make room for that new to come in.
Yep, that's exactly right. Interesting. Huh. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, astrology? And then we'll get into the... Sweet. Okay, so we have on Wednesday, June 11th, full strawberry moon in Sagittarius. So Sagittarius, fire sign, temperance card in the tarot deck. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. So Jupiter is the philosopher and seeker of the zodiac. So this full moon encourages you to really take a step back and look at the bigger picture. And it also might be time to clear out any limiting beliefs that are holding you back from pursuing your creative endeavors and like going for those big goals. It's actually funny you mentioned strengthening your nervous system, because that is something that could, hold you back from pursuing the goals you want to pursue. So like letting go of those limiting beliefs that we have, that we can't do all the things because we get tired. Anyways, I digress. The fire sign also would be a good time to get that passion going, right? Get that fire really fired up in the sacral, move it up to the rest of your body. And if you want to enjoy some strawberries with this full moon, I mean, they are amazing this time of year to go with the strawberry full moon. And then on Friday, June 24th, is the new moon in Cancer. Cancer is a water sign, and it is the Chariot card in the major arcana. So Cancer is ruled by the moon, which makes this new moon a really heightened time to connect in with those feelers that you have. Nurture and honor your feelings and deep-rooted emotions and what you need in this time to help you along your healing and emotional well-being. Cancer is too, right? The little crab. So get clear on those boundaries, even, when we need to go into our shell a little bit and just kind of recharge, protect our energy. Even with your Reiki practice, right? You can always, now might be a good time to really set those boundaries moving forward and what you want that to look like, and making sure we're not really leaking out our energy into places that aren't worth leaking out to. And especially those who tend to really give. Be mindful and maybe look at finding that good balance about giving and receiving.
All right. Yeah, lots going on. I love Sagittarius energy. Troy's a Sagittarius, so and Jupiter, the luck and fortune, and I love that.
I know. Sag is my moon sign, so it's like I'll really take advantage of this full moon.
Oh, that makes sense. I didn't know that was your moon.
Yeah.
Do you know what's your rising?
Leo. So I have like fire and fire. So with Gemini sun, and then a bunch of fire to go with my air. Just fanning the flames.
Fan the fire,
What's your moon sign?
Aries.
You're right. I knew that. You're also fire.
Yeah.
That's funny. And you're rising?
Virgo.
Oh, okay. That's good balance.
Yeah.
All right.
A lot of earth and All right.
Want to get into the episode?
Yeah. I'm super excited to share this with everyone because, the Archangels are something that Amanda and I have worked with since like day one. And we really wanted to dive into an episode of like the 6 main Archangels that we work with.
Yes, there are lots of them. And I know Rhonda talked about a lot more of them, but these are the 6 main ones that we work with. And hey, maybe some of these sound really good to you. And you're like, I'm going to bring them into my Reiki practice. Great. Let us know. Let us know what happened or what you did.
Yeah, I would love to hear anybody's experience with the archangels in Reiki, because it's just like such a, I don't know, like, peanut butter and jelly and like mustard and ketchup, like, it's just a good match together, Reiki and the archangels. I guess because that's just all I've known, and it just always works so well for me. It's like my little allies that I have with me. Well, not little, but allies that I have with me whenever I go into session.
Yeah, I was seeing that too. This is because this is all we ever knew right from the get-go. So even learning the other practices of Reiki and different styles of Reiki, I've always kept them with me because they're like my foundation. Yeah.
Yep, big time.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, enjoy, everyone.
Yeah. All right. So today's topic is all about the archangels. And this is something that is very, very special and dear to both of our hearts, as we've been working with the archangels in our Reiki sessions from day one. And I've been working with the angels since I was a kid, when I look back on my life, and they've always been around. And the word angel means messenger of God. And they're mentioned in different religions, but it goes far beyond religion. So I remember in a Reiki session that I did, I was talking about the angels that came by for healing. And the person, my client, was very turned off because of her religion beliefs around the angels. So it's just very interesting how a lot of people have different views on the angels depending on your background. But when we talk about the angels, we leave the religion part out of it. Like there is like some history behind them and everything like that. But yeah, we're just talking about the archangels. And they do love us unconditionally, and they do not condemn us. So it's not like the archangel is ever going to punish you for anything that you've done, or if you didn't call upon them. That's not how they work. It's all about unconditional love. And I feel like they can teach you all about unconditional love as well. And one really important thing, I can't remember if Rhonda talked about this or not, but it's like they can't act upon, or it's all about free will. So they can only act when we invoke or invite them in. They have to abide by the free will of humans. So that's something that I always like to tell people. But there is like certain circumstances in life, like a tragedy or something, I believe, where they would intervene. But for most part, they do act upon when you ask them because of our free will. There are so many archangels out there. I'm still learning about new ones. Like Rhonda's told me about new ones when I have a session with her. I'm like, I've never even heard of this one before. But in our sessions, we work with these main 6 ones, like some more than others. Some I have more experiences than with others, but we do call upon these 6 archangels. And yeah, it's so interesting what they have to show us. And really all you have to do is believe. That's all. I think that's all that they're asking for, is you just have to believe in them and set that intention when you call upon them. And yeah, so Amanda and I are going to go back and forth with the 6 archangels here, and we're going to talk about who they are, what they do, and how they can be incorporated into a Reiki session. So Amanda, do you want to start?
Yeah. So every time I do a Reiki session, I always call in these archangels. So I call in Archangel Michael to the south, Archangel Gabriel from the west, Archangel Uriel from the north, and Archangel Raphael from the east, and then Archangel Metatron from above, and Archangel Sandalphon from below. So it kind of makes like a beautiful, almost like a Merkaba, hey? It just gives me a nice protected circle. I always call them in. I have a little invocation that I say before I start every session. And my big one and my first one is definitely Archangel Michael of the south. So he's actually the leader among the archangels. So you'll usually see him depicted in kind of in a warrior stance, and he's holding a sword. And he definitely is like my main go-to right-hand man, if you will, when I am doing Reiki. And I think Christy can kind of say this too a bit. We definitely use Archangel Michael quite frequently when we're doing a session, hey?
Oh yeah, by far. And I even talk to him every day as well, like just day and
Yeah,
day.
yeah, right. And so he's in charge of like your life purpose and really works with light workers. So that's why I use him a lot when I'm doing sessions. His sword is to really cut the fear and help remove toxins from the earth. So sometimes when I am dealing with a Reiki session, right, like things can get, like, especially if I'm dealing with earthbound spirits or I'm dealing with just like lower vibing elementals, I always call him in because he helps release any kind of fear that may creep up, right? You can't ever associate those things with fear because it's always has to be love, right? In order to help move things on if they need help in that way. So yeah, always usually call him in to give me assistance. He is also associated with the color blue and very fiery energy. So he definitely has that warrior vibe. But I find that he has a very loving and caring fun side to him when I work with him. And I know, Christy, we have both have great stories about how he's actually quite funny. I've even seen him come like as Ghostbusters and come with like a Ghostbuster pack on his back and zap something up that I've needed. Like, it's hilarious. I almost think he's like a genie kind of a character more than I think of him as a warrior, even though he is a great warrior. He is a great one to call upon if you feel stuck with your life purpose or even your career, because he's a really big action guy. So really taking those steps to transform your fear into action. And I think that's why I always call upon him too when I'm doing that heavier work, or all of my sessions, really. It doesn't even have to be heavy, to be honest, but he's just always been kind of my number one for sure.
Yeah, I feel like we could almost do a whole episode on just Archangel Michael. He's been prominent from like day one when we started Reiki. He was always there. And yeah, he just, even if I'm walking down the street and I don't feel safe, I just call him in just to protect me. And I always call him in when I'm traveling. But that's more Raphael. That's the next one we're going to talk about. But yeah, he's just the best. And with his comedy too, like he's made me laugh out loud before. So he like brings a lot of light to like darkness, I find. And he's just so powerful and just, one of my favorites. And a lot of people have a lot of stories about him as well. So he's definitely,
I feel like too, if there was like, you talked about how they don't intervene unless it's like absolutely need to, like a really bad accident that is going to all of a sudden, mess with your plan, your big plan. I feel like he would be one of those to kind of intervene, him or Archangel Gabriel.
Yep.
But also, I call on Archangel Michael for protection for every one of my Reiki sessions as well. So sometimes I'll draw my Shoku rays on my wall, and then I'm calling Archangel Michael to help protect the space. Mm-hmm. And he always does.
Yep. Yeah, it's like flawless protection. And I use him lots, like with his sword to cut cords. I find that's a really powerful one. Like if you see a cord attaching to someone, I invite him in, and then I like picture his sword like coming around and slicing that cord and like getting rid of it. So he's pretty versatile. Like he covers a lot of bases.
Yeah, absolutely. That's right. I always call him to cut my cords as well. Yeah. But I know, and a lot of my students find that the whole action of cutting the cords seems like aggressive. So if that doesn't resonate with you, of his sword, that's the feedback I've been getting. You can think of his like blue light. I usually even think of him having like a white light, because white light kind of covers all the different lights. But can you think of a blue light, him shining his blue light and dissolving those cords, if that just resonates more with you? If cutting the cord seems like violent, or it just doesn't resonate, doesn't matter what the reason is, you can just think of him shining his light and just dissolving those cords so they're unattaching.
Oh yeah, I like that too, especially if it's like between like a loved one, like someone you're close to, and it's just like you got to just kind of slice that cord. But if it's someone like negative at work, like a negative coworker, it's like, let's just slice that cord. Cut it right now. Just like a big piece of ham. Just slice it. Just be done.
Well, even my son, like I cut those cords all the time. I have no qualms about using a big sword.
You know,
especially if you've had a day.
oh yeah. No, it's so important to cut those cords and do
Mhm.
it like daily too. I was doing it every morning. And
Yeah.
one thing that I found actually talking about cords is I cut my cord with my cell phone before I go to bed.
Oh,
And that one's been very powerful because I feel like throughout the day, there's an energetic cord. Because like we live in the technology world, we're always checking our phone. So I feel like that's just an important one just to snip.
oh, that's interesting. I'll have to do that. And I
Mhm.
have heard at night because cutting cords can be draining. So you should do it at
Oh,
night because then you're going right into a rest.
yeah, that
Yeah.
makes more sense. I was doing cutting cords with qigong in the morning.
That
That's
makes
when I was
sense.
doing it. But it was more like of a physical action, like brushing and cutting like on the body. But yeah, it's good to do
Nice.
it like a visual one before you go to bed. But yeah, anyways, I guess we should stay on topic here. Is that's everything for
Yeah.
Michael? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the next one I have up here is Archangel Raphael, and his name means God heals or God has healed, from the Hebrew word Rapha, which means doctor or healer. And he's a very, very powerful healer of like the physical body and also in animals as well. I didn't know that when I was doing my research. I actually learned that he actually really helps the animal kingdom, which is really neat. And he can be invoked on behalf of someone else for healing energy. But of course, he can't like interfere with the free will. So if you know someone that's like maybe sick or in the hospital, you can ask to send his green healing light to them. I find that really powerful because his presence is like very healing and calm. He can like reduce stress and anxiety. So he's good to call upon if you're in like a stressful state or you're going through something that is making you anxious. And so when I talked about calling upon Archangel Michael, I call upon Archangel Raphael as well when I travel. So I spend a lot of time on the highway. So I always ask for protection of my vehicle, whoever's in the vehicle. And it's because he's the patron of travelers, which means he's great to call upon when you travel anywhere. And he also can help with like the inward spiritual journey by helping you find that truth and guidance of your path, which is pretty cool. And he's just a great ally to call upon when like some deep healing is going on in like the physical body. And also like the other bodies, like the mental body, emotional body, and spiritual. But I just find like the physical body, he just comes in super strong and he can actually help attract aligned clients, which is really interesting as well. Cause we talked about that in, our other episode. And yeah, and then back to the animals. So he can help like domestic animals and then or the wild ones as well. And he can also help you find like a lost pet. And yeah, he just has such a beautiful, like gentle energy. And I associate him with the heart chakra. Because I think the heart chakra is green and he's
Yeah.
green. So I don't know if that's why I associate that, but whenever I'm over the heart chakra and Reiki, I can feel like his presence coming through and just like sending all that love and healing to that heart.
You know what I was thinking about when we were getting ready for this episode? Because like Archangel Raphael really is the archangel of Reiki, right? We're doing energy healing, we're healing the physical body. I thought I always call him in for physical healing. Like he's part of my invocation, calling upon Archangel Raphael for physical healing. But like when I'm doing my session, I'm not actually really calling him in during certain points. I just don't think of it. Like I know he's there holding the space in the room. And every time I cut my cords with someone, I call upon Archangel Raphael to send that green healing light to them after the cords are cut, just to help heal any, I guess, energetic wounding that took place by me cutting the cords. And I put that on myself too, but really good one, especially if you're having any physical pains. Call upon his green healing energy. I know my dad does that a lot anytime his knees ache or anything like that. And I had no idea that he primarily works with animals, though.
Yeah.
So people who are into wanting to give their pets Reiki, or you maybe want to go down the hole of getting into more animal Reiki, like definitely call upon Archangel Raphael, even to help you get that business started or what that would even look like. He would totally be a good one to work with.
Yep. Yeah, I think so too. And yeah, he also works with addictions and cravings too. I found that out on my research, and clairvoyance, which I was surprised by. I don't know why I didn't connect that one. But, when I do the research, like I have a really good book from Doreen Virtue, like an old school book. But, I like to research things, but I also like to go by my own experience too. And that's like something with everybody else that, like, if you had an experience with Archangel Raphael, but you seen purple light, roll with that. Like, trust what you see as well. I think that's important. Don't always go by like what you read in a book. Like, information is always good to get you rolling and learn about different things. But then once you start practicing and playing around, then kind of go with what you feel and what you see and what you feel. Or sorry, what you see and what you feel. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's right. Well, that's no different than us talking about how Archangel Michael's funny.
Yeah.
Like if you look him up, you're like, well, this guy's like seriously badass. Like
Yeah.
holding he's in a very action pose. But yeah, and then we're talking about how funny he is. Like that's our own experience. And
Yeah.
that's just how it comes through for us. And we're
Yeah.
not gonna rule that out.
That's exactly right. And okay, just one more point I wanted to talk about him is you can work in tandem with Archangel Michael to get rid of troublesome spirits and lower vibing energy from people, places, and things. So he's really good in like spirit releasement and space clearing. So I never called upon, like I always call upon Archangel Michael to help clear space, but I never thought to invite Archangel Raphael in as well, like to get that tandem, like energy. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Well, let's move on to Archangel Uriel. So this is, again, another one that we call in. He is the angel of wisdom, truth, and light. And Uriel actually means God is my light, or fire of God. And he can be seen carrying a book or a scroll. So he really gives prophetic information and warnings. He warned Noah of the floods coming. So if you're familiar with that biblical history, right? The flood, I think everybody's familiar, whether you're religious or not. The flood, everyone goes on the boat, 2 of every animal. There's been a lot of stories of it. So he warned Noah of the flood coming. And you can work with Archangel Uriel when you're having any earthly disasters. And I find if you want to strengthen your magic or visions, if you are getting them. So highly recommend if you want to really strengthen your third eye, work with Archangel Uriel because he is harnessing a lot of that psychic power. And he's an alchemist as well. He's really good at transforming things and helping expand things. So I know Christy and I, we try to get a lot of downloads when we're doing Reiki sessions to help our client. So he is a really good one to help kind of strengthen that muscle. And he's also associated with the color red.
Red. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, honestly, I haven't worked with him that much, like specifically. Like, of course, I call him in. He's part of like the 6 angel team, but I've never like invoked him. Is that the right word? Invoke when you invite them in? Yeah. But I would like to learn more about him, though. That sounds really interesting with like the alchemist and the psychic energy. And that's like part of our Reiki sessions. So it's kind of funny that how that all plays in. Like he's there and he's helping us with those certain things that we're going through and getting those downloads for those clients.
Yeah, especially if you're wanting to learn something or if you're in the middle of learning. I feel like I'm always learning. Every time I do Reiki, it's like I'm always up leveling. And he's all about carrying the books and educating and just going further and further. So I really like his energy. I'm going to make a point to work with it more because I'm just like you. I don't consciously make the effort to strengthen that relationship.
Yeah. And that's a really good point. Like I was going to mention the relationship part of working with the archangels, when you first call upon them, Sometimes you'll feel like a warmth, or you'll see something out of the corner of your eye, or you'll just feel like the energy shift in the room, or you might not feel anything at all. And it's like when you work upon that relationship, like each and every session or each and every day, that relationship is going to strengthen, and you're going to figure out like what his sign to you feels like as you move through your sessions and start learning. Because, you know, when you first meet someone, like a physical person, you're not going to learn everything about them and how they make you feel just in like the first hour of meeting. So you need to build that relationship with each archangel. And when you call upon them, they will be there no matter what.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yep.
Yeah. All right. So should we move on to the next one?
Yeah.
All right. So Archangel Metatron. So he is, one of my favorites. And so the meaning of his name is a mystery because it doesn't have like the EL suffix like all the other archangels, except for Sandalphon, which is actually his twin brother. And he's one of the two archangels who lived on Earth as a human. And there's some speculation that his name could mean he who occupies the throne next to the divine, or angel of the presence. So that was interesting. And so the prophet and scribe Enoch, who is said to have walked with God, retained his God-given purity during his life on earth and was a scholar on heavenly secrets. So when God escorted Enoch directly to the seventh heaven to reside and work, Enoch was given wings and was transformed into Archangel Metatron. So when Enoch was on earth, he was skilled and an honest scribe upon earth. So he had like a similar job in heaven, like to record everything that happened on earth and keep it in the Akashic records. And that's also known as like the Book of Life. And he's in charge of like recording and organizing the material, which is really interesting because when I started working with the Akashic records, and I would go up there, like I'm going to a place, but a place in my mind, right, in a different frequency, I would always see him there. And he was always teaching, it was like kids. He was always teaching something. And he looked like Dumbledore, but not like a wizardy Dumbledore. He looked more like Archangel type, but he had like the long white beard, and he always like would look at me and acknowledge that I was coming into the Akashic records. And he is a very powerful one. So I used to describe him as like that professor, like that one teacher that was a real hard ass, but like had a softness to him and just wanted to see the best in you. So he's like kind of like a spicy energy, but he has like this willingness to really help humans on earth and like connect that heaven and earth connection. And since he's spent time here, like on earth, he does understand the trials and tribulations of being a human, because the other archangels have never been in a human body. They don't understand what can happen and how we feel things. And back to the point about kids, he's actually very passionate about helping kids with like ADD or ADHD. And he also helps newly crossed over children to heaven. And he can also help children like polish their spiritual gifts and love themselves deeper and become more focused. So I guess that's where that ADD piece comes in. So I worked with him a lot as a child. I think I shared on another episode where I would connect with him in the sky, and I'd ask him a question and he'd look through his big file drawer and find me the answer. So it was like I was connecting to him in the Akashics when I was a young kid. And this all makes sense. Like this all comes full circle because he really loves working with kids. And when I work with him in Reiki sessions, it's when I need like really deep guidance on something, like also getting like a bird eye view on a situation, because he's like very, very highly focused. And I can, like, I don't have ADD, but I can, go off on different scenarios. And sometimes I find it hard to focus. So he really brings in that energy, like just really hones you in. And I know you've worked with him before in your Reiki sessions, hey?
Yeah. I call in Archangel Metatron anytime I'm going to do a past life regression. I always
Yes.
call him and Archangel Michael to come, right? Archangel Michael for protection, Archangel Metatron for time travel. I also call upon him in anytime we need to do like the really deeper inner chakra work. So sometimes there's like a contract or there's something that is deeply written in the soul's essence that needs to be reworked or taken out or cleared, and I call upon him for that as well. Or any of it, even that ancestral healing, like Christy and I recently did some deep ancestral healing. We have to follow it back through the line. So it's like we're working with Archangel Michael almost to help us clear out that whole thing. And that can go back 4 generations sometimes. And
Yeah.
it's a whole line that's like cleared out to help all the people who've been involved. Yeah, I think Archangel Metatron is definitely like the wise one. You know,
Yeah.
like when you said about Dumbledore, like it doesn't really give me like a wizardy feel, like you were saying, but just a wise feel and just like the librarian, just the knower of all the things. And I love that has been incarnated as a human because he can have that compassion and empathy. Like he knows how hard and challenging life can be. So it's a very loving, stern father kind of an energy.
Yeah. Yeah. Big time. And yeah, just him recording things in the Akashics and just having all that wisdom and just being able to tap into his energy is just, it's so powerful. And I really I really went down the rabbit hole of him one time, and I was searching and searching for a book. I was like, I just want to learn as much as I can about Archangel Metatron. Couldn't find a book anywhere, nothing. And then one day I woke up and I remember I heard the message, go to the used bookstore. Because there's this little used bookstore I love. And I was like, well, I don't really want to go. I was like, whatever. So I went there, and sure enough, there was a book on Archangel Metatron there. And yeah, I've read that book a couple times. It's so good. I really, really enjoyed it. But of course, it's all from someone else's point of view, but I did learn quite a lot about it.
Okay, so the next one we're going to talk about is Archangel Gabriel. So, you know what's funny? So, when you were talking about Archangel Metatron working with kids, Archangel Gabriel actually is a really good one that I work with. That I work with anytime I need to help with kids sessions, or even kids in spirit that need help crossing over. So Archangel Gabriel is known for communication and delivering messages. So I always call her in. Archangel Gabriel is female. I always call her in to help me receive messages from spirit, because she is like that bridge to help me hear or sense the message. She's also the one who appeared before Mary to tell her of Jesus coming, like, hey, you're going to have a child and get ready. She is also reported to being the one who dictated the Quran to Muhammad. So she is, I always find a really gentle spirit as well, and a really good one to just kind of get on the level of kids and really help even come in like softer. You know, kids, they just need almost like a way you can relate to them just in a gentler way, get on their level. And I find that that's the kind of energy that she brings in. And she's also a really good one to work with if you're trying to conceive, or, you know, or to help in children, or even help your own children. So I really like this because me and my spouse are trying to conceive. So I was just like, oh, I should really be working with Archangel Gabriel. And any kind of public speaking as well. Since she rules communication, and associated with the colors yellow and gold, which I actually find or white, which I find was really good because, right, that gold, that yellow is really associated with the solar plexus. So our confidence and our ability to speak and present ourselves out. So it is interesting that I find it really correlates. All the colors do. And especially like Metatron, I forgot to say this, always reminds me of the color purple, which is like our third eye, right? Like really going into that deeper etheric level. So yeah. Anyways, that's what I have on Gabriel.
Yeah. Yeah. I always call upon Archangel Gabriel to open like my ear chakras so I can hear like spirit guides. And I actually have a tuning fork that is the frequency of angels. And when I call them in, I call them like I ding my tuning fork and I point in each direction as I call them in. And then my hand moves when they come. So it's like I can feel their energy coming in, and then I tune my ears a couple times, and then my heart as well. So I'm just like in that angel frequency. But it's a neat tool to use, but you don't need a tool, of course, to call upon them. But yeah, always about communication, because I can, skip over my words and not get my point out clearly as I wanted to. And I find that she can really, really help with that.
I just had a massive aha moment, Christy. Okay, so this is kind of going a little off topic, but it's not. Okay, so I don't know if you guys remember this. I was having really weird things with my ears.
Oh,
So I had,
yes.
Christy's like, oh my God, because I've been talking to her about this. So I had double ear infections in both my ears in March, wasn't it? March. And then I was trying to figure it out, right? So I'm like, okay, what am I not hearing? What is going on, right? What do I need to listen to? And then the other day I'm driving home, and there was a tick right behind my right earlobe. Ugh. So of course I'm like, I get it off finally and out the window because I was driving. And then I messaged Christy and I was like, dude, like, what is going on? And she gave me a really great message. She's like, those who listen get fed first. Wasn't that it? It was something like that. And so I made sure to write it down and I meditated on it. But Archangel Gabriel is associated, yes, with like the ear chakras and calling her in. So I really think this has to do with my like fertility journey that I've been on.
Yes.
And I'm just going to make sure I work with her now. So sorry, I had this aha moment while we were recording, but it all kind of is coming together slowly. And yeah, that's super interesting.
That is really interesting, because Frick, even like as you were talking about it, it's like, I don't know where this connection is, like when you texted me with the tick and everything. But yeah, that like totally came full circle. Archangel Gabriel was like, hey, you need to work with me. Hello. And weren't you even pulling like an ear chakra card too?
Yes, 100% I was. I was like, I get it. Help me out more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. So that's awesome. Definitely going to be doing that. And if anything weird like that happens to you, really pay attention.
Yes.
Because I'm like, okay, this has to do with the now, the present, right? Because it's on my right side. So I'm like trying to figure it out. And yeah. Good stuff.
Yes, that just shows, like, when we want the answer so bad, we're like, what the frick is going on here? It's like sometimes you just need to let the dust settle and trust that the answer will come. And it always will. It always does. And in its own time when you're ready. So yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad that had that aha moment. Those are the best.
Me too.
Okay, so
last one.
Yeah, last one is Archangel Sandalphon. He is the other angel where his name doesn't end in EL. And Sandalphon means brother in Greek, which was interesting because he is the twin brother of Archangel Metatron. So he was actually the prophet Elijah, and Metatron was the wise man Enoch. And God gave them immortal assignments as archangels to reward them for their good work upon earth, allowing them to continue their sacred service from heaven. So his main role is to carry human prayers to God so that they can be answered. And there is some lore around this, so I wanted to mention this because this is kind of fun, but it's like he can help determine the gender of a baby if somebody's expecting. And his messages are very gentle and can sometimes be missed when you're not paying attention. And he communicates through music. So when you need his help, pay attention to the songs you hear or random music in your mind. Because all of a sudden you'll just hear a song playing and you're like, what? Why? But like pay attention to the lyrics and what is going on and maybe what you've asked for guidance on. And he's another one that, of course, we call in, but I haven't worked with him like solo before. And when I was doing my research, I called upon him and I was like, yeah, just did my own thing and set an intention with him. And then the next day I was doing a Reiki session, and I do Reiki in my office when I work from home, like it's the same space. So when I'm in the office all day sometimes coming back up here to do a Reiki session, I'm like, oh man, I don't want to spend any more time in there. But so I needed to like raise my vibration, and I heard like put music on, and I was like, okay, sure. So I put some like I love like 2000s dance music, so it's like I put some of that on, danced it out, and I snapped right out of it, which was great. And then when I started my Reiki session, I kept the music going. And usually I'll have like, you know, those healing sounds that are like massage, like when you're getting massage, like those type of sounds. But I was like, I kept the dance music on, but like really quiet. And some of the lyrics that came through, it was talking about the only thing to fear is fear itself. And that is literally something that I told a client the other day. So it's just so wild how messages can come through music when you set that intention. And there's can be so many hidden messages in music, or even like when you think of somebody, like a certain song reminds you of someone. And I feel like that's the way that Sandalphon you can really work with him if you are connected to music.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also think because Sandalphon is like the archangel from below, it's really good if you need help, like really grounding your
Yes.
energy, like right into the middle of the earth, like your hair line that runs through the body. So yeah, I always think of that too.
Yep.
And I love that he is associated with music.
Yeah.
Because like that is such a vibration. Like music is such a blessing. And especially using even my singing bowl sometimes and using that vibration of that music to really help clear things out. Like he's really good, even if you were doing a sound bath or anything like that, to
Oh.
help bring his essence into your sound baths.
Yeah, I love that. That's a great idea. And yeah, frequency. Music is frequency. That's totally right.
Mm.
Because it raised my vibration. And I guess like moving my body as well helps clear things out. And it's so funny, like when I dance, like I'm here by myself. Well, Ren was sitting on the chair and she was kind of looking at me weird, but I was like, whatever, you can judge me. But it was like I let my hands move, and I was doing like different way or different movements, and I was paying attention. I was actually clearing my aura as I was moving. And I was like, oh, that's really interesting. So that might be a new thing that I do to begin my sessions, is like, you know, just kind of like dance it out.
I do.
Oh, you
I
do?
totally do. Oh yeah. Yeah. 100%. Sometimes I agree with you. Like sometimes my Reiki sessions don't start till 8 p.m. And like, it's
Yeah.
way better now that it's summertime, but in the winter, I
Yeah.
have to put that music on and exactly almost like clear my field, shake off that stuff so I can get into like a really good place. Yeah, it helps tremendously. It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah. So in a way, maybe we were working with Sandalphon like
Yeah.
indirectly. So
Yeah.
yeah, I love that.
Okay. Well, I think that's all we have for the archangels. So yeah, if you ever, you want to start working with them or incorporating them into your practice, like maybe just start with one at a time or
Yep.
call them all in and see if you notice the difference. But everyone is welcome to work with these. They're not special to one specific person or religion, right?
No.
Reiki is definitely not a religion. So I mean, if it feels good to you, work with them. If none of this felt good to you, hey, that's okay. Don't work with them. That's all it is. But try it out and let us know what you feel, what comes up for you.
Yeah, we would love to hear your experiences with them during Reiki sessions or even like day to day life. And, you know, a really good way to learn about them, I find, is Kyle Gray has some really good angel decks. And, you know, you can pull one each day and you can like learn with them and like sit in their energy. And he also has a really good book too. Because I know Doreen Virtue's books are kind of harder to find now that they're not being published, and you don't want to pay like $50 for a book. But also check the library. Sometimes they have her books. But yeah, I would recommend Kyle Gray if you wanted to really take a deep dive. All right, so we're going to end this episode with a card pull, of course, and it's Amanda's turn. So let's see what kind of messages we have.
Yes, I'm using the Psychic Tarot deck today. So the OG. Okay, so for today's reading, the first two cards that came out were Major Arcana cards. So this is big shifting energy. So I got the Strength card and the Justice card. So all about finding that inner strength and finding more balance into your life. Some of you could be kind of almost like doing your Reiki or doing something in secret, and you're kind of afraid to come out of maybe the spiritual closet a bit, or come out or to friends, or maybe even your spouse. Maybe you're worried that they won't quite understand what's going on, and you have this whole other secret life that you're really interested into, and it's time to kind of break the silence and lean into your community, lean into the people that love you, because they will support you. I even see like a rejoice and celebration. So I'm getting the 3 of Cup energy with the 9 of Swords. So don't be afraid to try to find more of a balance into your life with that 6 of Pentacles. It is going to be really worthwhile, and it'll be really freeing. It'll almost feel like finding that inner strength again. So the Strength card. It'll feel empowering. That's the word I'm looking for. To really kind of just almost feel like you're being your authentic self, because you can kind of breathe again, and you're not shutting down that side of you. So highly recommend, if you've been kind of weighing out if that's something you want to do, I think it's going to be met with really good results. I just have one more card here. Yeah. And then you can get into starting to learn something new as well. It'll kind of open up the channels, and you're kind of saying to the universe, like, okay, I'm ready to proceed on to my next steps, and like really like learn more and go to the next level is what I'm seeing for this. Yeah. Big transformation coming in as well when you decide to open that up and let that in.
Yeah, I feel like that is going to resonate with a lot of people. You know, I've met clients that, you know, do Reiki and read cards, and like their spouse doesn't even know that they do it. And it's just like, wow, you know, when it's just such an important part of your life, it's like we want to share that with other people. But of course, it can be scary to share that part of yourself when you're not sure how they're going to receive it.
Yeah. And I know too, like we were really worried about sharing this with our coworkers. And you know what, like coworkers, they're not your family, they're not your close friends. Like you don't need to go out and express yourself that way if it doesn't feel like a good, safe place. I mean, sometimes it's okay to keep things separate. And this is my own personal note now. This is not part of the cards that came out. But yeah, friends and family, like Christy was saying, I know that it can be a little like, but maybe just see, or just test the water slightly, and then just keep putting a little bit more in and see how it's being received before you maybe dive all the way out. But
it feels so good though once you get that out in the open. Yeah. And then you know what, sometimes if people don't understand it, that's okay. That's their journey too. And you just gotta accept it, I guess. Yeah.
You know, it's funny actually. Yeah. Side note, quick. Like I know Todd, like my spouse, he has some friends that I think kind of like maybe make fun of it a bit, or they don't get it. And like it's funny that Todd gets kind of like defensive about it with me, which is really sweet. And like I don't care. Like they can think whatever they want, right? But it is nice that he gets what I'm doing, and he just gets my passion behind it, that he will like defend me on it. It's a cool thing. So that could be you too, you know.
I love that. Because Troy said the other day the guys were laughing about Reiki for animals, and they're like, "What the hell's that? What's that gonna do?" And Troy's just sitting there in the corner. He's just thinking, "Well, you guys are missing out, because that's a whole other thing. Like that could help your dog, but you know, to each their own, I guess." But yeah,
that's right. Okay. Well, you can find us on Instagram, Living the Reiki Life.
Yes. And we both have our personal pages. Mine is The Birch Soul.
And I'm Reiki with Manda.
Yeah. And I'll be included in our show notes if you wanted to follow us and see what we're up to. And yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Leave us a review as well. 5 stars, y'all. 5 stars.
Yeah.
Helps us grow the page.
Yes, we totally love and appreciate reviews, or if someone writes a review or that 5-star review, that means so much to us.
Yes, thank you. We'll see you next time.
Yep, have a good week.
1, 2